Welcome into Walk the Line, where I'm your host, OG Chris Murray, giving you my Dynasty Man League Week 14 picks. It's Week 14 of the season, and it is crunch time. A lot of divisions are neck to neck tight. A lot of guys can't take no more losses. Some guys are trying to make that late playoff push. So with that being said, let's dive into these picks. Alright, first up we have Expert in the Jacksonville Jaguars versus Darkness in the Tennessee Titans. What the hell is going on out there in Jacksonville, man? Blake Bortles is pretty much throwing Expert chance of making a run for the banner pretty much down the drain. We knew that Blake Bortles was bad, but wow, he's pretty much, goddamn, like he's bad. Looking back at the DML Madden 19 team draft, this was a team that was highly favored to at least be the AFC South Division champ. Not a team that's fighting for a wild card slot. They're sitting at 6-6. They basically pretty much can't afford to take another loss. Vegas has them favored by 8 points, and I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will come out and knock off the Tennessee Titans going into Week 15 with the W. Next up, we have Ness and the New York Jets versus Skill Trade and the Buffalo Bills. Last week, Ness and the Jets gave up a forced W, which, in my opinion, was a bad decision. Like I just said, it's crunch time. These last 3 games are very important, and he's sitting at 9-3, but he has tight work on his tail, and he also has the New England Patriots with the schemer 2 games back also. That forced loss could potentially have cost him a first round bye, which is important in the playoffs, or potentially cost him the division. So I think that this week is a very important game for us. But how Skill Trade has been playing, I'm going to humble myself because the Bills definitely kicked it up into, even though they're still losing, they have came out and competed on a different level, I think, from the first half of the season up until now. So I think that this is not going to be a walk-off W for Ness. It's going to be a battle, but I do have Ness taking a W over Skill Trading the Buffalo Bills going into Week 15. Next up, we have the Shit Bowl game. Pretty much both of these users, man, are flat out struggling from the gate. I think that they lack finding identity on both sides of the ball. But I think next season, this offseason they're going to do fill in a couple holes, get some game planning, figure out what guys are working, what guys aren't, and I think that next season we'll be seeing a different New York Giants team and a Washington Redskins team. Westside Pablo and Under 2 Rated, they're good users. They show that they can compete here in the DML, but I think that this season they lack the identity on both sides of the ball. They couldn't figure out a scheme that worked for them. But in this matchup, I have Westside Pablo and the New York Giants taking a W over Under 2 Rated and the Washington Redskins going into Week 15. Next up, we have 85 and the New Orleans Saints versus T-Pain and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Vegas has this. I'm not going to spend no time on this game. Vegas has 85 as a 16-point favorite. I think he's going to win by way more than 16, taking a W over T-Pain and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Week 15. Next up, we have the Schemer and the New England Patriots versus Tight Work and the Miami Dolphins. This game right here is a very important game. Both users are trying to make that playoff push, and both users are pretty much have a shot at winning the division. Just simple as that. With Ness taking that loss last week, it pretty much opened up the door. Tight Work is already in the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure that he would love to have home field advantage for that wild card game, or potentially competing for a first round bye. This is why these last couple weeks, like from Week 13 to Week 17, is like I said, it's crunch time. You know, so if Nets taking that loss last week, it opened up the door and gave pretty much the schemer, I know, a lot of hope. But these are two users that, like I said, have to. This is a must-win game for both guys. You know, they faced off each other early part of the season with tight work taking a dominant W over the schemer, 29-7. Caused a lot of turnovers. The schemer, listen, you have to figure out how to take care of the ball in this game. And you're going to face a Miami Dolphins team who's flat out been playing good, you know, at home. So you got to figure out how to take care of the ball. Remember, block out those off-field distractions, you know, and bring your A game because you're going to need it. But I think that this is going to be a repeating occurrence. Tight work is going to take the W going into Week 15. Next up, we have Matty Lowe and the Baltimore Ravens versus KP and the Kansas City Chiefs. Wow, this is another important game right here. Matty Lowe is heading into this matchup without Joe Flacco, who has been suspended for one game for showing up to practice drunk. He's entering the game with Robert Griffin III, who hasn't seen any action on the field since Week 1 of the preseason. And he's also without Terrell Suggs and Michael Price, who helps out with slowing down the run game. This is, it's going to be a tough matchup. He's going to have to pull every trick out of the hat to contend or compete with KP and those Chiefs. Now, KP, the odds are in your favor this week, man. You're going up against a user who's pretty much playing with a third-string quarterback, okay? Ranked 16th in defensive passing yards allowed. And he's without Terrell Suggs and Michael Pierce, who helps out with controlling the run. You know, this guy's against the ropes. You got to go for the knockout, and you can't come out and play. You got to come out, and you have to execute. You know, this will be my first upset pick of Week 14. I think that Matty Lowe is going to somehow, some way figure out how to go into Kansas City with his third-string quarterback and his banged-up defense to get the W going into Week 15. Next up, we have Marizi and the Indianapolis Colts versus SJ and the Houston Texans. Man, SJ this season is taking a lot of people to the 40-40 club. I happen to, be treated to that visit last week with shots on him, all night. But one player that stands out to me on this Houston Texans team is Clowney. This guy, man, is leading the DML in interceptions, and he's pretty much flat out a ball hawk. He's a guy that I learned it very fast that, you have to pay attention to where this guy's at all times, and if you lack the discipline of, thinking that you're going to just come out and just throw the ball anywhere, any way, direction without, trying to read the defense, you're going to pay for it. And this guy made a lot of guys pay for it with right now standing with 11 interceptions at the middle linebacker position. I contribute 5 of those things last week. But Marizi, man, he coming off an impressive win last week, taking a W over the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he got to figure out how to carry that same motivation into this Week 14 matchup. But the Houston Texans, man, how they're playing right now, I don't think that Marizi is going to figure that out. I have SJ taking a W heading into Week 15. Next up, we have King Vitamin, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Bus and the Chicago Bears. All right, man. This right here can easily be the NFC Championship preview. Simple as that. This can be the NFC preview. But I've been questioning myself lately with these two teams. Sometimes these guys, KP the Bus had a amazing start. Amazing start to the first half of the season. You know, defense came out with that Chirac mentality, trying to rip guys' heads off, break a fucking bone in the person's body every time they hit them. Then you had Vitamin on the other side, also with a stacked Los Angeles Rams team that, on paper, on the defensive side of the ball, is the best defense in the DML, in my opinion. But they managed to just like take some L's that just left a question mark in the air. You know, so this game right here to me is going to come down to who defense can get their mojo back, because these defenses, man, are both stacked and well talented, but they've been playing flat-footed lately, and a lot of guys are pretty much been coming up and just saying, doing whatever they wanted to do against these defenses. But I think this game is going to come down to which defense can figure out how to get their mojo back. Vegas has this with Vitamin being a 4-point favorite. I think Vegas got this one wrong. I'm going with the Bus and the Chicago Bears at home, taking the W over King Vitamin and the Los Angeles Rams heading into Week 15. Next up, we have C-Rob and the Carolina Panthers versus my Cleveland Browns. C-Rob, man, wow. C-Rob, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. He's sitting at 9-3, threatening to pretty much take the NFC South, which a lot of guys thought that, you know, Eddie was pretty much going to run off with, but he's only one game back, you know. So C-Rob has definitely, you know, impressed the DML, but he's been flying under the radar. You know, hasn't really been in the chat talking too much. He's pretty much letting his stick skills talk for itself. But he's going up against my Cleveland Browns, which is going to be, like I say, every week for my young guns. It's going to be, you know, it's going to test our will, and we got to show that we battle tested. We have to figure out how to solve the code to C-Rob's defense. You know, he's 4th in points allowed on the defensive side of the ball and 7th in passing yards allowed. You know, we're going to have to figure out how to come out, not turn the ball over, and put points on the board, because this is a Carolina team they're looking like they're not trying to slow down, you know. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But I never go against myself. I'm going to take my Cleveland Browns at home over C-Rob and the Carolina Panthers. Next up, we have Nasty Noop and the Atlanta Falcons versus the Moby and the Green Bay Packers. Wow. Nasty Noop has a chance to make the playoffs. You know, in the DML, I know we didn't hear that, you know, a lot in past seasons, or in the past season. But the turnaround is real. Nasty Noop is back in Atlanta, and he's showing that spark, man, that, you know, we seen in Madden 16. He's sitting at 7-5. He has a shot at making the playoffs, and he's going up against a quarterback who leads the DML in interceptions. You know, I think this is a game that Nasty Noop has to come out and be focused on, because if he doesn't, Moby can slide through the cracks and get the W. So just stay focused. This Atlanta team, you know, even though they're sitting at 7-5, I think their record could be a little bit better with the talent that they have. But, you know, they faced some adversity with injuries in the early part of the season. But I like how this Atlanta team is looking, and I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons with the W over the Green Bay Packers going into Week 15. Next up, we have JB Blazing and the Denver Broncos versus Sweet 99 and the San Francisco 49ers. All right, this is my first trap game right here. Now, I told people from the gate, Week 1, that JB is a user that pretty much knows how to take a beating, knows how to erase the memory of that beating, and come out next week and play like nothing ever happened. You know, so I don't think that this is going to be a walk-off win for Sweets 99 and San Francisco 49ers, because the Broncos are going to play tough every week, no matter what their record is. You know, they're going to play tough every week. But Sweets, 9-9. You are going up against a defense that allows 32 points a game, ranked 31st in passing yards, and ranked 32nd in rushing yards allowed. This defense, cannot seem to stop a lick of nothing. You have to get your offense going if you want to make a push for the playoffs. This is a must-win for you. This is a must-win. Vegas has Sweet 9-9 as an 11-point favorite. I don't think he's going to cover the point spread, but I do think he's going to get the W. So I'm going to take Sweets 9-9 without the points, getting the W over JB Blazing and the Denver Broncos going into Week 15. Next up, we have the big homie and the Cincinnati Bengals versus Eddie Forrest and the Los Angeles Chargers. This is my number 2 trap game right here. Okay? These guys out there in Cincinnati, even though they record have them at 4-8, these guys have come out with the talent that they have and put up numbers and compete with the best of the best in the DML. So I don't think that Eddie Forrest don't take your foot off the gas pedal in this game, man. Do not take your foot off the gas pedal. You cannot afford to take a loss. You sitting at 9-2. You have KP sitting at 9-3, and you have Tone sitting at 8-4. So you have to come out focused in this game, and don't take your foot off the gas pedal, because I'm telling you right now, if you come out flat-footed, the Bengals is going to knock you on your ass. Vegas have, the Chargers as a 9-point favorite. I think Eddie Forrest is going to come out very focused in this game. It's crunch time. He knows it's crunch time. I think he's going to cover the point spread and take the W over the big homie and the Cincinnati Bengals going into Week 15. Next up, we have Matty Ice and the Philadelphia Eagles versus HBO and the Dallas Cowboys. Man, is this game going to be a sim? Is it going to be an FW for Matty Ice? Or is HBO going to finally stop running and let Matty drop that 50 on his head? HBO talk the most shit coming into this season. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I think HBO figured out, what he should have known a long time ago is this Dallas Cowboys team is not the same as last cycle. They ass, man. Y'all are ass. And I think Matty Ice is definitely going to expose this Cowboys team and expose HBO and let him know that it's just a fact, bro. The Cowboys are ass. Vegas have Matty Ice as a 13-point favorite. I think Matty Ice is going to have no problem covering those 13 points, taking the W over the Dallas Cowboys going into Week 15. Next up, we have Taz and the Detroit Lions versus Guwap and the Arizona Cardinals. Taz had a shootout last week with King Vitamin and the LA Rams. He has to prepare himself because this is an Arizona Cardinals team, man, that can come out and put up points very fast and very quick. So I think, Taz, you got to, reload your clips up and get ready for another shootout. Now, Guwap and the Arizona Cardinals, man, they're sitting at 6-6. This is the team that can't seem to find consistency. That's just what it is. They can't seem to find it. 1 week, they look like a team that can contend for a banner. Then the next, they're like a bottom feeder. In the DML, you have to figure out how to get your groove. And when I mean get your groove, you have to get it at the right time. And this right here, man, is the time that you got to get it. You have to get it. You're 6-6. If you plan on trying to threaten KP, I'm sorry about that. If you plan on trying to threaten King Vitamin and make that playoff push, you have to find your groove and stay consistent. You're going up against a Detroit Lions team that shows that they're trying to see this season all the way through. They want to be over 500, and they're coming out each week showing that they're not bending over and just flat out letting guys do what they want to do. This is the tough pick this week. But my gut is telling me to go with Taz and the Detroit Lions taking the W over Guwap and the Arizona Cardinals. Next up, we have another trap game. Flair and the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Tone and the Oakland/Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Tone, don't fall victim to the trap. I'm telling you, do not fall victim to the trap. You have to come out focused, man. You got to come out focused. If you don't, I can see Flair, going toe-to-toe. I can see him going toe-to-toe. But this is the season. This is the season, and it comes down to pure stick skills. I don't think Flair can go toe-to-toe with Tone as far as stick skills. I think Flair is tanking. He has Antonio Brown at the 4th spot on his depth chart. He got Le'Veon Bell as the second in the second slot in the running back position. That's a lot of question marks out there in Pittsburgh right now. I don't know what's going on. This team has so much talent, but they're sitting at 1-11. Like, what the fuck, man? Is this going to be a repeating occurrence for Flair this cycle, or are we going to actually see the Pittsburgh Steelers, compete and contend for at least, I'm not going to say banners, but at least making it to the playoffs? Vegas has Tone as they have him as a 15-point favorite. I don't like this spread as far as the 15 points, but I do like Tone getting the W over Flair and the Pittsburgh Steelers going into Week 15. Next up, we have Hamilton and the Minnesota Vikings versus Houdini and the Seattle Seahawks. Hamilton, what's going on, baby? Damn, I was so excited in the first half of the season to see these Minnesota Vikings play. And I was just like, it's the Minnesota Vikings and Hamilton. That spark, that fire it got water through on it. It got sand put on it. Everything in the book is on that fire, and that fire is out. This is a game that pretty much doesn't matter for either users. So I'm just going to flip a coin. Yep. I'm going to take Hamilton and the Minnesota Vikings over Houdini and Seattle Seahawks. Now, those are my picks for Week 14. Drop a comment. I'm your host, OG Chris Murray. I'm out.